As a hairstylist who owns multiple multi-million-dollar companies, in this podcast, I'm talking to hairstylists and salon owners who are ready to put in the work to build wealth. We are literally teaching stylists how to get results. We're getting them to get results on how to make more money behind the chair and to create their own empires. It's what you know that you don't know that you need to know in order to get to where you want to go. Because I understand now that in order for me to get to my targets and my big goals and be able to impact 500,000 stylists all over the world and 400 plus salon owners and helping them run an efficient business that they don't feel like they're babysitting anymore, that they feel like they know how to scale it because they have the right information. We get to touch this magic every day of giving people the confidence of hair, but truly it's how do we be more impactful and understanding. My name is Terra Harvell and this is the Terra Harvell Show.
All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Terra Harvell Show, where I keep coming to you with sort of controversial subjects inside of this industry. It's not really my intention, but there's just a lot of problems inside of this industry, and not necessarily, I would call them problems. They are flat out problems. Things are just crazy. But the thing is like, I feel the duty to educate people. And here's why. A lot of people know this story. Some people don't. About 3 years ago, I literally wrote $1 million check. It was a little over actually, to someone for education because I got to a point in my business where I was like, oh shit, I have to learn more in order to get to where I want to go. And so I've really invested the last several years in just my knowledge and how businesses are ran, how businesses are evaluated, how businesses exit. Because if you're listening to this and if you've heard me talk about this, it's one of my most probably important topics that I love to talk about inside this industry is, guys, there's only two ways a business can exit. Number one, you shut it down, sell all of your inventory on Facebook Marketplace and hope that someone swoops in and buys all of your shampoo bowls together and not separately so that you only have to meet them once. Or you can build a business that is so valuable that someone wants to come in and purchase it, whether that's maybe an investor or could be another employee. I think one of my dreams is that one of my employees, I build a business so valuable that one of my employees wants to come in and buy it because it's so valuable and it has so much more room to scale. And so I just needed to give you that short little blurb so I can go into what I'm about to talk about because it is so controversial. And I lit up my Instagram this last weekend with slides about this subject. And I had a few people in my DMs that were not happy with me, but I'm okay with that because if you don't stand for anything, you stand for nothing. And so let's talk about this insane white label craze that is hitting our industry and people are losing their shit over in a bad way and maybe sometimes a good way. I want to talk about it. And here's the thing. I want you to understand something. If you're watching this and you've considered doing this, or maybe you're doing it, or maybe you are a business owner who is building your business off of the white label model, you should probably listen to this because I'm not totally against you. I want to say that up front is I'm not totally against you. And this isn't just to bash that model, but it is to make you very aware of the problems with that model, right? And so that's where I'm at. I protect stylists and salon owners every single day from bad business deals. That's just what I do day to day. And so what I've seen from this white label model where these white label gurus are coming in and they are helping stylists and salon owners literally take hair from their warehouse, slap their label on it or their logo on it and sell it to their clients and even other stylists, there is a massive problem inside of that business model and I'm ready to get into it. Okay. Number one, I think the number one thing that I see is these people are out there going, okay, here's some hair, here's your logo, we're going to slap them together and that makes you a CEO. I've actually even seen a box that's going out from one of these companies and the top of the box says where millions are made. Guys, I'm just going to give you some inside information that my attorney probably will not like me giving. I sell $10 million worth of hair every single year. And the profit inside of my business is not millions with an S. That is not true. You will not make millions in profit or money or income by white labeling some hair extensions. Let's get fucking real, okay? So that is my problem. That is where these people are coming in. And by the way, I want you to understand that my business, our books are extremely clean. We have FP&A expertise inside of our business who helps us with that planning, with the profitability. We are extremely profitable. We work with a consulting firm, and they literally tell us that we are top 5% of their most profitable businesses they work with, and they have over $4 billion under their umbrella. And so, like, don't even come at me like, well, your business must not be profitable. No. We are very profitable, and we do run a very responsible business. And so what I don't think is responsible is that you guys are out there selling people this dream that is not true. And so let me tell you why that's not true. Because white label gurus are literally competing with their own client. And this is something that I see happening a lot in a lot of different industries. It's where I have a massive problem. This is why I cannot believe that stylists actually are out there still supporting extension companies that sell also to their client, meaning their client can literally get on the website, order hair, even if it's at a little bit more expensive price, they can still order the same product, which does what? It takes the profit out of the stylist's hands. Harper Ellis, I'm just going to be real with you guys because we've ran projections. We have the audience for it now. We built Harper Ellis to be a very well-known brand. We could sell directly to the consumer. We could literally skip over the stylist and sell to the consumer, and we would probably double our business tomorrow. No, it wouldn't be probably. We would double our business tomorrow. But there's a reason why we don't do that is because I have a very moral issue with that. That's messed up because if I'm really for the stylist, then why am I going to sell to their clients? And so here's what I want to understand from these white label gurus. And hey, if you have the answer for this, I've actually had a few of them in my DMs and they still could not answer this question. Even after I answered it or I asked the question multiple times, they still could not answer me. But if you are for the person you're selling to, which is the stylist and the salon owner, and you're helping them white label, here's a bundle of hair, slap your logo on it, but then you are out literally white labeling the same exact product to their neighbor. Now, I've heard some people be like, oh, but they have exclusivity in their local market. Okay, so you're telling me that you're already setting them up for failure because there's only so many stylists in your local market. Most of them won't buy from you. So because they're the next town over, it's okay that you're doing that business model to their neighbor. Guys, your local market, the reason why you guys think that this is okay is because your belief lid is so low. Like you're thinking that their local market is enough for you. Guys, I sell worldwide and I just literally spewed my margins onto you. And the profitability of my business, I sell $10 million worth of hair every year. Like you've got to conceptualize how business works. So that's my biggest problem is like, I think it's just a facade and you're painted that, oh, I did all this work for you. I did the testing for you. I did, all these things that are going to save you money, but yet I'm going to hit you with a fat ass, like upfront fee, but you're going to get a big discount. Guys, that sinks into your profitability when they do that. You have to pay me $20,000 and we have secret shopped some of these people. And that was one of the fees, $20,000 just to get access to the hair. I'm like, for what? Because you're already tanking your profitability of the product before you ever even get access to a product that is inside of your building to sell. These people are banking off stylists not knowing how to run the numbers and projections. And this is why I have so strongly I get on calls every single week with salon owners and I teach them how to read and look at a profit and loss statement and look at balance sheets and make sure that they can tell the nature and the health of the business just by glancing at a document. I'm not the norm in our industry because I had to set out and learn, but you can too. Guys, I'm remedial math girl. I'm not even good at math. I have to use my calculator every day, all day. Like if I can learn it, you can learn it. And this is why I'm here to empower our industry to stop just falling victim to these business models because they make you feel good today. They make you want to go to Thanksgiving dinner and say, hey, I have my own hairline. Your uncle that makes millions of dollars and runs a successful business, he's going to say, I love that you have your own hairline, Sally Sue, but like how much money are you making? And when you're like, well, I'm not profitable yet. Like the conversation goes down here really fast when you're talking to people that actually know how to own and operate and scale a business. The business model doesn't work. And so you can't slap your label on something and call yourself a CEO. That's what I'm telling you. And I say that, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus in the same breath. Guys, I just now became a real CEO. Maybe a year ago. And I'm telling you guys that because I had a mentor of mine and he looked at me one day and he's like, Tara, stop calling yourself a CEO. You're a founder. You're not a CEO. And I was like, oh, like, let me get your foot out of my ass really fast. But tell me more. He was like, listen, CEOs make data-driven decisions. They are able to run perfect projections on their business and understand how the business scales. They're able to make decisions based off of the data and the metrics that the business is telling you. You're not doing that. So therefore, you're not a CEO. So in the last year, I have turned my professional life around by being able to learn these things that I didn't know in order to be a real CEO. And so you guys, CEOs aren't just people with titles. They're people that do particular and very strategic things inside the business that drives the business forward. So slapping your label on something is not what makes you a CEO. I'm reading from my phone because my posts honestly on Instagram are fire. So I am reading from it. But you know, these people are definitely preying off of people that don't understand the business and how to scale it. Truth be told, and I want to call ourselves out on it because you guys, something that you'll learn about me, even though I really will probably say a lot of things that ruffles your feathers, because that's what I tend to do. You guys, like, Harper Ellis considered this whole white label craze. Like, we literally at the end of last year, I was like, let's just allow them to do that. They trust our product. Hair is great. Let's allow them to, you know, put their name on our hair. What's the harm in that? Well, I'm gonna tell you what the harm is that. This whole episode's what the harm in that is. But we literally ran the projections, and we ran the projections about the longevity. Like, what happens when you don't fix the turnover problem that you have in your business? And all of those stylists that were buying hair from you, they walk out the door and you start all over with new stylists who have no extension client. What, you just don't order from your white label guru anymore? Or better yet, what happens when what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to depend on someone else to function for you to be able to run your business? You show up at Thanksgiving dinner and you're like, yo, I got my own extension line. I'm so cool. Toot my horn up, Aunt Sally Sue. And then what happens when your white label guru decides to go out of business? Because guys, 97% of businesses fail. That's a stat. That's not from me. Don't be mad at me. Don't shoot the messenger. That is from Gallup's poll. That is literally the data. 97% of businesses fail. And so what happens when your white guru girlfriend, she's not there to dish you out your product? Then you have to go find another one, and then your coloring changes and there's so many logistics that doesn't make sense with that. And so, I know you're not thinking about these things, but these are the things that I also, inside of my, 8-figure business, that I'm literally having to alleviate risk, right? Okay, but let's talk about white labeling for a second here. And let me also inform you why the structure that's out there for stylists with hair extensions does not work. So a little hack and a little secret. Some of your biggest brands, and the ones that come to mind, are product brands. So Estee Lauder, Kevin Murphy, Dry Bar, a lot of those large, very, very valuable businesses that have actually sold multiple times are private labeled companies. They don't necessarily own the IP and the formulas to their product. So you may be like, okay, what do you mean, Tara? Why is what I'm doing not okay? Well, because those companies have some of the best legal teams in the entire world up front. And so if you're going to go private label a product, what you should be doing is having the right contracts in place. So what those contracts look like is it should say, and a lot of these products do read this with those bigger companies that are private labeling products. It should say okay, maybe after a certain amount of SKUs that I have bought from this factory or bought from you, I own the IP. Maybe the contract says that. Or maybe it says at the event of an exit, at the event that an investor comes in or anybody comes in and deems our business valuable enough to purchase, we then own the formulas for the sake of that exit. But this is how you win. Since, the factory's built the formula, this is how you win. You get X% of the purchase. And so that's what I mean. But these white label gurus, they don't have number one, they don't have the margins, because what they're doing is they're buying them straight from the factory in China, which is what Harper Ellis does. We found the manufacturer. I'll talk about our manufacturer in a minute and why it's different. But they went straight to the manufacturer, and basically they're the in-between person. So they buy a product. They have little to no negotiating power because they don't have any control over the client, which is you, because they don't know how much hair you're going to buy. And so they buy it at a margin, right? And then they're the middleman. They mark it up a little bit more, and then they mark it up a little bit more to you. And so it's basically could be the same cake, right? But there's smaller slices until it finally gets to your customer, which is your customer. And so there's a problem with that, because when you're talking about these big companies that do go out and white label, they have the ability through these factories, because they're going straight to the factories that own the IP, and they're making correct contracts in place, so that way if they can exit, or they have someone that wants to come in and buy and exit the business. Remember what I said back when at the first of this episode? I said there's 2 ways to exit a business. You either shut the damn thing down, you sell your inventory on Facebook Marketplace, or you build a business so valuable that someone purchases it. And so this is what you guys aren't negotiating because you don't know. Like, you don't have this kind of knowledge. And neither did I until I got into this level of business. But also these white label gurus, they cannot negotiate margins with you. So that's another thing. Let's talk about your margins. Harper Ellis now has massive spending power within our manufacturer. We have so much power because we've grown so much that we actually have contracts in place that I know for a fact that no other company in this entire world is getting the same quality hair as mine. Because guess what? I've spent millions of dollars on, foreign contracts and foreign legal counsel to get these things in place because, guys, I'm building a business that's so valuable that will be valuable to someone else and then someone else and someone else. And so I've been able to be educated enough to set my business up for success in the first place. But you guys, you can't go to these white label gurus. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. It has to be annoying, especially if you are a white label guru. What do I call them? These white label homies. If you go to them and you're like, hey, okay, after I buy a certain amount of product, you have to give me a better margin. And then another certain amount of product, you have to then give me another better margin. Like, they cannot make those contracts with you because they don't have the margins. They can't do it because they're the middleman and they have to make money somehow. And so this is entirely so broken. But then I had a person in my DMs that was like, well, we save them hundreds of thousands of dollars in the testing phase because, guys, for me to test Harper Ellis hair and find the manufacturer that would be a partner of mine, not just a transaction of mine, it cost me well into six figures, maybe $500,000, I would say. And so, yeah, it's an investment to go out and build a business because, guys, there's no shortcut. I hate to be, and it's not your white label homies out there that's giving you the shortcut. You're still setting yourself up for failure by signing up for this if you're trying to build a real brand. Now, let's just calm down, take a deep breath. Who this business would be great for. Let's talk about that. Those of you that just want to make a buck today and don't have any plans for the future, that might be an okay thing for you. That is where this would maybe be successful. But you got to be careful because if you're investing all these upfront dollars into just having access to their stock and just putting your label on it, what is your strategy to sell the hair? Because I guarantee you these white label gurus, they may be showing up acting like they're building a strategy to sell the hair. Are you very, very clear? Ask yourself, by working with this person, I am so clear on how I'm moving this product. Because the business plan isn't that, oh, we just give it to your stylist in your salon, because guess what? There's broken processes there too. What's the turnover like in your salon? Are those people fixing that? What about the training process for your stylist in order to get them doing extensions and have butts in the chairs that are getting extensions? What's the strategy in that? And that's the thing. It's just, becomes very, very broken. And I hate to be the one to tell you, but it is. That's why we didn't do it. That's why we backed out, because truly us doing the white label program would be setting some of our people up for failure. Because there's no longevity in the business model. So, why a lot of people, I think, go for this model is like, oh, I may have the opportunity if I buy, X amount of hair, which is an investment and a loss on your profit and loss statement. You may have bigger margins, which will make you more profitable. That's how all these people are selling it, basically. It's like, oh, you get hair for cheaper, so you have bigger profit margins when it comes to you doing extensions for the client. And that's not necessarily true. And I just want to make sure that people listening to this know this, because we have secret shopped a lot of these people. And we're seeing that, so for instance, when you're a loyal client, you're inside of our salon owner or mentor stylist program, you get a discount on hair for every transaction. And so those margins are not any better than the ones that we give with our loyalty program. And so that's what, that was a big eye opener for me, because I was like, well, if I was going to go for that, that would be the reason why, is because maybe I could make more profit, but that's not the case. A lot of these bigger extension companies, and I'm not just trying to go to battle for myself, but a lot of these bigger extension companies will give a discount to their loyal clients if they're buying. And also, to get the discount, you just be a loyal client. You don't have to buy a $20,000 upfront fee in order to do that. So we don't wreck your profit and loss in order to participate inside of this. And so that's the part that I was like, why are they doing it if it's not actually any cheaper and it doesn't actually make them more profitable on their service? Then I just can't get down with the why. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I'll leave you guys with one last thing. And I just wanted to, when there's anything new in this industry, I will always look into it. And that's where I want you guys to understand that's where I'm coming from. Because when there's a new, I wouldn't even say fad, when there's a new thing to this industry at any, no matter what it is, I always want to go do my research, because there's a chance that like, if it's a great business idea, even if I didn't come up with it, Harper Ellis may pivot to this, right? Which is why we explored this private label thing. But then when we dug deeper and looked at the longevity for not just us, but for our clients, we backed out because of all the reasons that I've been talking about. But that's the reason why I'm making this, not to like throw anyone else under the bus, but because I would love to have someone that is doing a lot of these private label things. And I'd love to have you on the podcast. Like, please answer my questions. Like, answer why you think that, telling them that they're exclusive for their local market is enough, because there's not enough clients for them to make millions like you advertise on your blogs. Oh my God, I'm going to get killed because of this. Anyway, so one thing that I did is I reached out to, so let me just tell you how nosy I am, right? This one private label company literally took tons of pictures, tons of footage inside of their manufacturer, which I thought was really cool, by the way. And then they even posted a picture of the owners. I literally just screenshotted it and went and put it in Google Images, and I found the factory. Like, you're bad. Anyways, I reached out to these people, guys. I reached out to the people. Let me just tell you what I did. Okay. So I was like, hey, and here's the deal. When I reach out, I think I mentioned this on Instagram, but when I reach out to these people, a lot of these factories will drop everything to talk to me, only because they go straight to social media and they're like, who is this girl? They see how big our business is and they're like, yes, volume. Yes, please talk to me. And so I reached out to the oh no. I reached out to these people and I just said, hey, help me understand like how this is working. Do you have any big companies that you work with? I kind of like come at it in a way like I was maybe interested in working with this factory, not because I have an amazing partnership with my factory. I have exclusive rights to so many things, like whatever. But I reached out to these people and I was like, hey, so, I saw through this other company that you were white labeling. Tell me what's up with that. Like technically, as a big company coming in, like you're kind of cutting them at the knees. And so help me understand this. And she said, so some hair suppliers, so what she's talking about is the raw hair suppliers. They make them buy lower quality hair along with good quality hair. And so it's like a package deal, which I understand that business is business. So we end up with a lot of lower quality hair stockpiled. So these customers are getting the lower quality hair because they care more about price than they care about top quality. These people, because they private label gurus, I'm sure y'all are sick of hearing me say that again, but the private label homies, they care about the price versus the quality because they have to protect their margins, because there has to be a little slice for them and a little slice for you, right? And so it says, if they decide later that the quality isn't for them and stop buying, it's okay. It doesn't really hurt our main business because we serve our larger customers with the better quality. I was like sort of taken back when I read this. And then I even mentioned how I didn't feel like this was very ethical, and just said, I get it, but this is strategy, and this is definitely how we handle lower quality material. We've been doing this for quite some time. If they decide later that the quality isn't for them and they stop buying, it's okay. It doesn't really hurt our main business, and our as in the factory's business, because they sell to bigger players. And so they basically are just distributing their lower quality hair to the smaller players, which are right now these white label companies, because they don't have any control over the end result customer, which is you guys. And so, because the system is so broken. And another thing that I just was like, she was trying to reassure me that don't worry, the quality and pricing you're getting is not the same league as any other regular hairdressers. And so I want to leave you guys with that, because this game isn't simple, or else everyone would do it, right? And I want to tell you guys, full transparency, when we opened Harper Ellis, we started working with this factory and we had tested them for like over 2 years. I am not kidding. And our first large order of like $100,000, they sent us all bad quality hair. So they had basically catfished us for almost 2 years, sent us decent quality hair. We then turned around and spent every profit, every dollar we had in the bank account to place our first large order in order to scale the business. And they sent us all bad quality hair. And I had to go back and make it right to every single stylist and salon owner that was buying for us. And I literally, when we got a new factory that produced hair with the quality that we thought it should be, we replaced all of that hair for free, and it almost bankrupted us. I'm just going to be honest. I had a private label gal in my DMs, and she was just like, we have spent so much money in finding, we do buy in volume. We do all these things that you're saying. And I'm like, I get that, but you still leave no control to the stylist. So what I'm saying is you guys going and buying from them, and then you slap your label on it. And the thing is you have no control tomorrow after you've invested all this money. You've bought colorings. You've got everyone so excited about your new brand. They raise the price on you. So you may be thinking, well, Tara, you can do the exact same thing if we buy from Harper Ellis. Yeah, we can. And then you can also change companies and go buy from someone else if you don't like our margins. And so that's what I mean. Like, you're giving them too much control over keeping you as a customer, but you have no control over your margins. Do you know how dangerous that is? Like, that's a risk that I had to quickly alleviate from my own business, going directly to the manufacturer. Business doesn't operate that way. And so whenever you give someone else the control over your business, you're not running a business. You're just putting your name on something and calling it a business. And so when you own a business, you have control. You have control over scalability. You have control over margins. You have control over profitability. You have control over the strategy. You have control over who else has your product in their hand. And if none of those things are important to you, I think that white label route is great for you. I think that's a great decision. But I don't know many people that those things would not be something that I would want to make sure I have in place inside of my business. And so hate me or love me, it's fine. I usually get about 50-50. I'm just kidding. But I just wanted to make sure that our industry has full awareness of the dangers of this model and why we backed out of it as Harper Ellis. We really wanted to do it. We had a lot of clients that were interested in it. We went full for. I even announced it on stage in front of 200 people last November, and I was like, "This is about yay!" And then we got back here. I started to hop on phone calls, and what you guys needed was a teammate. My clients and our stylists and salon owners that wanted to private label through us, you needed a teammate. You needed us to help you in the places that you're not good, which was the marketing aspect, growing that brand, selling that brand to other stylists. Well, that's not something that we can do, and neither can the people that you're private labeling with, because guess what? They're out selling to the same damn client. So they can't back your business. They can't help you with the scalability of your business because they're out. So we couldn't do that for our client. And so I had a moral issue with this private label route because I could not be like, hey, here's your new brand. Let me go help you grow it now, because we're doing the exact same thing behind the scenes. And so it was like I was just banking on them, investing in, $20,000 to $30,000 to $40,000 worth of hair to put in their salon that their logo was on, and no strategy to move it. And I know how hard that strategy is because I run an 8-figure extension business. It's not easy. It's not easy to get people to buy your hair. And so that's why, morally, we just had an issue with it. And honestly, you guys, if there's any white label people out there that just still, after this episode, listening to my ins and outs, you still believe in the business model, please let me know. I want to have an open, honest, respectful, great conversation with you where, you can answer my questions. Because I'm not saying I know everything in business, because God forbid, we know that's not true. But I know what I know, and I've been able to learn how to grow a valuable business that other people find valuable. Because let's be real, I'm not going to do this forever. I will exit someday, and I want other people to have the same options. So if you have a objection to the things that I've said, please let me know, because I would love to have a chat. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for listening.